What's going on, everybody? So I'm back live now. I had to do some work real quick. But what I'm going to be talking about right now is the way that Donald Trump gets treated. And the man's being treated unfairly. I feel sorry for the poor man. You know, I'm just going to say this kind of on a rant. But Donald Trump won the election on November 9th of 2016. Before the man could even get to his inauguration, people were trying to impeach him. People were crying, impeach this man, impeach him, impeach him, impeach him. They were calling for his death. They were calling for the death of his wife. They were calling for the death of his children. People were wishing harm and death upon innocent people just because they don't like the man that won the presidency. It's like, you lost. It's that simple. You lost. And even now, you watch the media, you see the same shit still going on. Over a year and a half later, almost 2 years later, the man's been in office. He's done more good than just about any president I can even think of in the history of this country. He's definitely done more than any president in my lifetime. Definitely done more than Bush. Definitely done a better job than Obama. Did a better job than Clinton. And people still hate him. People still want him out. What are you going to impeach him for? What are you trying to impeach him for? There's no evidence of anything with Russia. And if there is any evidence, he still has not been convicted of a crime. You cannot impeach the President of the United States unless he either violates the Constitution or commits a crime while he's in office that affects the country. He has not done either of those things. The only thing Donald Trump has done is tell the truth honestly and talk about his opinion and express his opinion. And what he said obviously resonates with a large amount of people in the country because a large amount of people voted him in. He won the electoral vote by an overwhelming margin. And the only reason he lost the popular vote was California and New York. But when people talk about Donald Trump as not their president, it makes me sick to my stomach. Because you know what? If Hillary Clinton had won, and I'm not a Hillary supporter, if Hillary had won, Hillary would have been my president. If Bernie had won, I really didn't like Bernie. But if Bernie had won, he would have been my president, and I would have showed support for him because he's my president, whether I like him or I don't like him. But you look at the way Trump is treated. All they can do is talk about the negative things that they want to bring up, and it's always the same thing. Either he's racist or Russia. That's the main one they talk about is Russia still. But what's going on, the biggest thing is like, look at North Korea. Look at the summit with Kim Jong-un. This man was over here making peace with a nation that has been threatening us and talking shit to us and starting shit with us. For 63 years, they threatened to nuke us when Obama was in office. Our presidents have had a don't respond thing. And yeah, I'll admit some of what Trump was saying on Twitter with Kim Jong-un, I'll admit some of it was ridiculous. I'll be the first one to admit it. But it needed to happen. Because when we have these presidents we've had before that are not calling it out, that are not calling out North Korea and are letting them punk us and bully us, it goes just like everyday life. If you let somebody that you know keep punking you and keep bullying you, they're going to see how far they can take it, and they're going to keep taking it further and further and further, and they're not going to stop. Had we not have came back at North Korea the way we did, this summit would probably have never happened. I don't think it would have happened. And when you look at it, there's peace. The man made peace with one of our longest enemies we've ever had. And instead of praising it, instead of talking good about that, CNN and everyone else, they're talking about Russia. They're talking about he's communicating and he's showing respect to dictators and oppressors and things like that. Honestly, the way I see all that is if they benefit us in trade, they benefit us in trade. I don't care. If they benefit us to be allies with, then they benefit us to be allies with. What they do in their country, that's their own business. Just like what is going on with the terrorism and all of that in Syria and Iraq and things like that. Until it's over here, that's none of our business. When there's things going on like that, we need to stay out. We have our own problems to deal with. And part of why we were having problems with North Korea was because of our things with South Korea, because they're doing their shit with South Korea. That's none of our business. That's between them. That's between them. Let them do what they want to do. Let them do it until it bothers us. But what I'm saying here is that the man won. Let him be the president. Give him a fair chance. Let him do his job. He can't do his job when people are sitting up here blocking him on every little thing he does and trying to impeach him for every single thing he tries to do. And even for things he's not trying to do, trying to impeach him just because you don't like him. I'm sorry, but you can't impeach the man because you don't like him. If you could impeach the president because you don't like him, Bush would have been impeached. Clinton would have been impeached over Monica Lewinsky, which he got impeached, but it wasn't for that. It was because he lied under oath. But he still finished his term. They still let him finish. Obama would have been impeached because he had a very, very high amount of people that did not like him. So Obama would have been impeached, and all these people would have been impeached. But you want to impeach Trump because you don't like him. I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't do it. It don't make sense. And anyone who's watching, if you don't agree with me, you can go ahead and call me a racist. You can go ahead and call me a bigot. You can go ahead and call me whatever. I've been called it a billion times, and probably a billion times multiplied by a billion times on this channel. It doesn't bother me. All I know is I'm speaking the truth, and y'all don't like it. So anyone who disagrees with me, go ahead, call me a racist, call me a coon, call me a sellout, call me an Uncle Tom, call me whatever. But you can't tell me anything that proves me wrong. Everything I've said where people start all that, you're not telling me anything to prove me wrong. All you're doing is calling me a coon. Go ahead. I'll be a coon. If me telling the truth makes me one, fine. I'm happy to be one. I'm proud to be one. I'm super coon. I've said it a million times. Okay. But, continue on US 52 for 6 miles. I just love my country. I love America. And I'll stand by the country till the day I die. And whoever wins the election, whether I like him or not in the future, I'm going to stand by the president because that is the president. They won constitutionally. It is their right to do their job as president, and I'm not going to sit here and try to block them on everything they did. And I just think it's sad that you got to treat the poor man the way that you're treating the poor man. It's like, really? I've been alive for 28 years. And in 28 years, I've been alive for Clinton, I've been alive for Bush, and I've been alive for Obama. And I've been alive for Trump. What I can honestly say here is that in 28 years of being alive, I have never seen a president that the moment they get in, before the man can even get in, they're trying to impeach him. I have never seen a president be treated so unfairly by the media. I have never seen the media be so openly biased against the president. I mean, don't get me wrong. They were pretty bad. Fox was pretty bad about Obama. Don't get me wrong. But it's not as bad as this. Nowhere near. And I feel sorry for the president. I feel sorry for Donald Trump. I pity him. And the man deserves support, but he's not getting it. The man needs support as president in order to be able to do his job the way he wants. And for him to be able to do all of the good things he's doing when people are blocking him at every single fucking turn, imagine what kind of things he'd be doing. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be fair. Nobody wants to give the man a chance. And I think it's fucked up because all he did was win. That's all he did. He won. You lost. Get over it. If Hillary had won, I'd be pissed too. I'd be very pissed. But you know what though? If Hillary had won, you would not have these Donald Trump supporters out here blocking freeways, protesting, and trying to impeach Hillary at every fucking turn. Did she bitch? Trump, then yeah, I'm sure the Trump supporters would want her gone and not want her in office because of the illegal shit she was doing. But nobody would be here trying to impeach her and marching to impeach her for everything she does. People wouldn't be standing in the middle of the street saying, fuck Hillary. People wouldn't be doing that. And yet, people talk like Obama. Here's about Obama. People talk like he was God's gift to the government and things like that. Like he was the one who ended racial division in politics. No, he's not. There were several black politicians before him. We had Condoleezza Rice walking around as Secretary of State as a black woman. Nobody was talking about Condoleezza Rice. We had Colin Powell. Nobody was talking about Colin Powell. But when Obama's running for president, we love Obama and we want him in because we need a black president. Because they thought that Obama was going to be the savior to the blacks. Obama didn't do shit. How's that make you feel? You didn't know nothing about his character. You didn't know nothing about his policy he wanted to propose. All you knew was that he was black, and that's all you cared to know. I voted for him too. I admit I fell into the same trap. No, I don't want this run. I am not on duty. I do not want to take this. Decline.
You have rejected a job.
But the man won, whether you like it or not. And yeah, I admit I fell for the Obama trap. I did. I'm sad to say it, but I'm glad I learned from it. Because had it not been for that happening, and me not seeing what happened, and me seeing what was going on, I would not have gained the views that I did. I would not have developed myself mentally to the point that I have. I would not be at the point that I'm at. Had it not been for, you know what, and I'm going to go and I'm going to talk a bit about BLM a little now, too. I believe, honestly, that there are some good points that Black Lives Matter is bringing up. I do believe that we have issues with police accountability, and the reason I'm saying we have issues with police accountability is because when you have people that are investigating themselves, it's just like if you committed a crime and your brother and your sister and the rest of your family were the ones who were investigating your crime, and they were the ones who reviewed it and handled it, you would get no punishment. That's the same thing that's going to happen with police. When they're investigating themselves, police have a very strong bond because of what they do for a living. Just like how cab drivers tend to have a pretty strong bond because of what we're doing. But people look at it as it's a race thing, and it's not. This is not a racial issue. The issues that we face in this country that people talk about with race, it's not the race itself that's the problem. It's the poverty difference. And the poverty that people are bringing up is that the things that people are bringing up is that, and I do not want that. I'm just going.
You have 10 seconds to accept.
This cops usually just try to cut me off.
You have 5 seconds to accept.
I don't want the job, but when you talk about all of this, it's the poverty is the problem. It's not race. If race was the problem, I would say it is. Race is not your issue. It's the financial discrepancy that is in race. And the reason that the financial discrepancy is the way that it is because 72% of black children are born into single-parent households. The average net worth of black women in America, the median wealth in America for black women is $5. But black women spend $500 billion on weave and hair extensions and hair care products. They are the highest rated, at terms of rate, black women in America have the highest rate of a college education. That's not racism. That's far from it. If anything, that should say something good about it. That should say there's less racism because they're the highest educated demographic. The reason that there's so much poverty is because of the single black households and the poor spending and poor financial management of the black community. That's what it is. When you've got these single mothers with 3 kids, and I see it every day. You get these single mothers with 3 kids, and these single mothers with 3 kids are wearing $1,000 fucking clothes, got multiple $100 Prada Gucci bags, good nails, $400, $500 weave, but their kids is wearing rags. That's why the problems are the way it is. Not because of race. because of poor financial management and because of people not being smart. Period. And that's because all of this shit is glorified. These gold teeth, these grills, these Jordans, they're all glorified. You want proof that the Jordans are glorified? How many people have been shot over? How many people have been killed over Jordans? How many have been shot over the color of a t-shirt? You want to talk about blacks being killed? Talk about the biggest killer of blacks then. Talk about other blacks. Because blacks are the ones that are killing each other the most. When it comes down to people who get in my car, the ones that give me the most trouble are black. Every single time. And it's usually the same thing. Like, one thing that'll constantly come up and be a problem is that there's no eating in the car. That's on the sign. That's signs on the car and everything. There's no eating in the car. When I tell people you can't eat in the car, see, white people, they'll usually try to rationalize it. They'll be like, well, I haven't eaten all day. Or they'll say something like that to rationalize it. When they see that you're not going to budge, they let it go. That's what they do. They let it go. They get in the car. They might make some little wisecrack or something, but that's it. I tell somebody black they can't eat in the car. Man, when the fuck did that start? Man, when did that shit start, man? What the fuck you mean, man? What the fuck you talking about, man? Or I tell them they can't eat in the car. Oh, your ass is fucking rude. You a motherfucker. You an Uncle Tom. So I'm an Uncle Tom. Because the rules of the vehicle is there's no eating in the car. I'm an Uncle Tom because I'm enforcing the rules. Because if you spill something in my car, I have to be the one to clean it up, not you. And I don't want to sit up here and clean up after nobody's mess. I'm not your parent. I'm not your father. Because trust me, if I was your father, you wouldn't have seen me your entire life. This would be you know what I mean? So I'm not your father. I'm not your parent. It's not my job to clean up after you. But I get told I'm rude because I don't want to clean up after somebody else. I get told that I'm an Uncle Tom because I'm following the rules. And I'm rude for telling them that they need to follow the rules. I'm wrong because I want things to be done right. Because I want the ride to be as smooth, quick, effortless, and just as relaxed as possible. My job is to get you to your destination. Okay? My job is to get you to your destination. Yes, keeping my car clean is part of my job, and that's because of the image of myself. I don't wear my hat when my customers are in the car, for example. But that's what I'm saying. Is like, my job is not to clean up after you. My job is not to be your babysitter. Okay? If you're drunk, well, I kind of have to babysit drunks. I mean, that's kind of how you deal with them. Because drunk people, they don't know what they're doing half the time. I mean, there's some that they're just buzzed or they're drunk, but they're cool. But honestly, when it comes down to picking people up, it's like when you drive the ones that are getting in the car, arguing, fighting, and cussing and all that, because you won't let them eat, or they get in the car and they start talking shit because you won't let them eat, or because you won't let them sit in the front seat. Okay, again, white people, they might try to rationalize it real quick, and then when they see you won't budge, they'll stop. Or there might be the ones that, they might say some little smart ass shit. It's whatever. You said something smart, I can deal with that. Come on in, you're not going to eat in here, you're fine. When you deal with blacks, though, and it's not always, because I've had some cool ones too. Now, I've had some white people get mad and start talking shit too. But the majority of the time, it's the blacks that are doing it. And it's always over the same things. And they're always the ones that cause the problem. They're always the ones that escalate it. They're always the ones who get more pissed off. They're always the ones who take it to the next level. And that's because they feel entitled. They feel like I'm obligated to let them do what they want because of the fact that they think me being half black means that there's some kind of familial connection. I'm sorry. There is no familial connection here. There is no paternal connection here. None of that. I'm here to pick you up and bring you where you gotta go. Period. That's my job. My job is not to clean up. My job is not to deal with your bullshit. And I'm not going to deal with it. Now, when you talk about, oh damn, all this road construction, but the biggest thing is that why can't people just separate race from things? Like, when I look at people who are getting in my car, I don't see color. I don't see the color of your skin. I don't see black. I don't see white. I don't see Hispanic. I don't see Asian. I don't see Native. I don't see those things. What I see is the color green. That's the only thing I care about. That's my job. And I'm not going to throw my job out for you. And I'm not going to go against what I'm supposed to do for you. Now, another thing I get a lot, and this goes back to Trump. People who get in my car are talking shit about him every single time. Like, almost every day I have people get in my car and have some kind of negative shit to say about Donald Trump. And when I tell them I don't want to hear it, what happens? Oh, why not? Are you some kind of Trump supporter? And I just don't, look, I just don't want to talk about this. I'd rather not, because it's a sensitive subject and we're going to get into a conflict about it. Instead of respecting that, though, people keep it going. Now, I've had somebody black call me an Uncle Tom because I said I did not want to talk about Donald Trump. And then they kept it going, and I was like, look, you know what? If you want, I would like the conversation to stop, because me and you are going to say something. Either I'm going to say something you're not going to like, or you're going to say something I'm not going to like, and it's going to escalate the situation, and then you're going to end up getting put out of the car. And that's because they started, getting mad and getting aggressive, because they would get mad and get aggressive because I didn't want to hear it. Well, what am I supposed to do? Get into a conflict? No, I'm going to avoid the conflict. I'm going to avoid the confrontation. But people don't seem to understand that, and they always think that when you're trying to avoid the confrontation, you're siding with the whites. They always think that when you're avoiding confrontation or when you're trying to do right, people don't like being told they can't do things. And it's just sad. I wish the world could look at things from more than one aspect and separate racial tension from everything else. That about covers what I wanted to say. To the person that's still in my channel, on my live, thank you. Peace.